to Harrowing Tales, your one-stop horror podcast that covers all things paranormal, spooky, and strange. Delving in the fictional and factual, we are your hosts. I'm Brent, and I'm joined with Cal.
Hello, I'm Cal. Today we'll be talking about the Whaley House, or the Whaley House Museum. It's located in the old town of San Francisco, and there's a lot of spooky happenings that have, happened there. Lots of ghosts, but also just the history of it is quite harrowing, if you could say so. Like, if you want to say.
Is it San Francisco? I thought it was San Diego.
Oh, sorry, San Diego. My bad. San Diego. Too many sands. Yeah, San Diego. I actually visited there about a week and a half ago, I want to say, when I did my little tour of America with my bestie. And, well, we saw some things, or we felt some things.
Ooh.
Which was interesting. And I've already got a little bit of knowledge on the Whaley House because I'm a bit of a horror junkie, I guess you could say. I don't know what the right.
I think you can
terminology
call
would
both
be.
of us that are horror fans.
Horror fans, yeah.
Yeah.
We're horror fans.
We're horror fans.
We like the spookums. We like all the spooky things that go on. And this was something that we both really wanted to see. We actually stayed in Gaslamp as well, which I'll tell tales of another time, but it's a very spooky city. A lot of cool stuff that goes on, or, well, maybe not cool, but a lot of things that have happened in San Diego that are cool to talk about. So I guess to start off with, we went on the ghost tour, and I guess, like, as per usual, you don't really expect that much from a ghost tour. Like, it was like the sun was going down. It wasn't too spooky inside the house. Like, it wasn't pitch black or anything. But we did experience some interesting things. First off, when you go into the courtroom, which is the first room you see in the house, right? I felt something really weird. Like, it felt like somebody was staring at me from the corner. From
That's
the back
weird.
right corner. Yeah. And the tour guide didn't even say anything about it, like that was a hot spot. However, it is common for people to see someone there. That I found out that it is very common for people to see there.
Oh, really?
I went and did some research afterwards, and I was like, oh, fuck, all right, well, okay. Apparently there's someone that's, like, maybe part of the jury or something, I'm not quite sure, that sat in the back right corner. So that's the first thing. And my friend is very in touch with, like, very much a believer in ghosts and stuff, and she had a very weird feeling throughout the entire experience, I should say. Anyway, we continued with the tour, and we were walking into the dining room area, and I felt I was the last person through the door, by the way, so there was no one behind me at all.
Oh no, I see where
I
this
was
is
the
going.
last person, and it felt like whoever was tugging on my shirt was, like, small, like a small person, and it was a very definite, like, tugging, and I was like, oh, maybe something, like, it got caught on something. There was nothing that it got caught on. Like, I was walking through a doorway, there was nothing there, and, like, there was a proper, like,
But you
tug.
felt like a... Okay.
Yeah, but it felt like it was getting tugged down. Like, it was getting tugged down.
That's
it was like
so
a tug,
strange.
and it wasn't like one tug, it was like a tug. And we walk in.
Oh, because
like,
if you caught on something, it would have just been like, oh, stuck, you know?
Yeah,
But a
like maybe
tug.
But it was like a consecutive tugging. I turn around. I'm the last one through the door, and the tour guide wasn't going through the door. They had shut the door behind us. I was clear of the door as they went round to spook us through the other door as part of their, as part of their tour is to kind of jump scare from the other side. And yeah, no one behind me. Last person through that fucking door. And we go in there, and I'm just like, okay, all right. I'm not gonna say anything because, like, what if it's just me? Like, I don't know. Anyway,
Do you
after
believe in
that,
ghosts?
oh, I mean, I've had ghostly experiences. I am still quite skeptical in the fact that I think that in most cases it can be our imagination or like us playing it up, or that things, if you know that you're in a haunted place, you're going to be spooked easier. Like, but there are things that we can't explain. And until we can explain them, I can't say that there's a definite no on that. Like, it's just as much as we can't prove that they're real, that we can't prove that they're not real.
I think I'm in the same boat where I'm not like a 100% believer in things. Like, I've had my fair share, and I think that's just like, oh, I'm open to the idea. I like the I want to believe.
Yeah, I want to believe.
I'm not I'm not 100%. Because there's no proof. I'm not like, okay, and someone might be like, here's the proof, but like, I don't know, I'm not sold, but I just find the whole thing really interesting.
I do too, and I think there's different perspectives, and especially with this is quite a commonplace for people. This is the most haunted, like, it actually says it's America's most haunted house. So if there is a place where you would see something, it could be smoke and mirrors, but if there's going to be a place, this is probably one of the places where you would see something or hear something or feel something, I guess.
But you're also going into that place with that mindset. I'm wondering if that's gonna cause more people to go like, oh, someone just poked me, but it could just be their imagination going into somewhere that's the most haunted place in America,
Exactly. And that's why I was kind of like, oh, I walked through the door, felt someone tug on my shirt, and I was like, oh, like, maybe I'm just dramatic, like, making it more dramatic than it is. Maybe, I moved a certain way. I don't know. But, like, there really wasn't anything for me to get caught on, and, like, I can't really rationalize a way that would have happened naturally without someone tugging on my shirt. Anyway, the tour continues, and as part of her tour, she talks about this little girl, one of the Whaley children, and I'm not sure, I don't think she actually died in the house. I can't quite remember her story, but apparently she has a lot of good memories in that house, and she died quite young, of like maybe five or six, I think, around that age. And she would often play under the table and like hide and play with people there. And then she goes on to say she commonly will tug on people's clothing to get their attention. And I was like,
that's so good.
And I was like, what? And I was just standing there like, fuck, like, what the fuck?
That's so cool. That's awesome.
I was like, wait, nah, surely not. I can't make that shit up. And especially since she said that, I had no idea that was a thing either, that happened. And then she goes on to say that afterwards, I didn't already have that in my head. you know, like I wasn't thinking, oh, maybe like, you know, oh, if I get tugged, there's a ghost. I was like, oh, someone tugged on my shirt, turn around, no one's there, because I thought, oh, maybe it was Alana, but she was in front of me, so it wasn't her. And it was like, oh, okay, fuck. Anyway, we continue the tour, and this wasn't my experience, this was my friend's. Like maybe we'll get her on to talk about the experience later, I'm not sure. But essentially what she told me, we went up the stairs, right, and we were looking into the baby room. This is where Thomas Whaley
not
Jr.
the baby room.
Yeah, the baby
not
room.
the baby room.
Yeah, so there's like a nursery, like a full nursery that is still there. And it's quite a sad story. So like the baby, he was 18 months old and he died from scarlet fever in 1858. And we were looking into the room. There's a little kind of like a bar in front of it, or like a railing. And me and my friend just like looking in, and she's like, "Do you smell that?" And I was like, "Smell what? I don't smell anything." And she was like, "I can smell lavender." I was like, "Lavender?" And like everybody else had kind of continued to another part. Like we were separately looking around these rooms. There was no one standing like directly behind us or next to us. I couldn't smell anything. And then she goes, "I can smell lavender." I was like, "Weird, okay." And she's like, "Oh, it's gone. That's it." Like it was only for a couple of seconds from what she told me. Again, we go on until the next room where the tour guide continues to talk, and she continues and she says, well, one of the telltale signs of seeing Mrs. Whaley, so this is the mother, she's apparently the most viewed or the most known person that you'll see in the house, right? The one that interacts with people the most. And her biggest sign is, guess what?
Oh my gosh.
It's lavender perfume. And my friend goes, she looks at me and she goes, oh fuck.
That's really cool that they're the only one that smelled that. Well, I don't know what the other people smelled, but you didn't smell it.
No one else said anything to us, at least, or on the tour group. Although we didn't really talk to anyone else because we're a bunch of loners, but you know, like we weren't really interacting with anyone else, so I don't think anybody else smelt it. But again, like it was just me and her next to each other, and you know, I don't smell like lavender, and she don't either. So like it was a very like, oh okay. So this was like, and it was she said it was a very strong smell. Like it wasn't just like oh, interesting smell. It was like, from what she told me, it was a very, like, she smelt it really strongly.
Right. That's crazy.
It is.
That's crazy because that you didn't smell it. Because I was gonna say, if you smelt it also, I was gonna be like, well, if I wanted to make a paranormal experience, right, and it was just a whole load of bullshit, I would do the same thing they do at Disneyland, have little scents that like they pump out into the air. Like, you know how at Disneyland they pump out like popcorn to get you go, oh, I'm hungry for some popcorn. Exactly. You put out the lavender to make people like go, oh, I smell a spooky lavender ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I couldn't smell anything because she actually asked me, she was like, oh, do you smell that? And I was like, I can't smell jack shit. It just smells like fucking dust. Like it smells dusty as. Like it's an old house. It smells like an old house.
Right.
And the fact that she smelt it really strongly was like, oh, well, fuck, okay. She also took a picture, and I think we kind of debunked it for ourselves, but you can see her portrait we took side-by-side photos, but you can see like her face in the mirror. And I think
No.
I think we might have debunked it because there might have been a portrait on the wall and it was reflecting through the mirror. So,
That's such a crazy coincidence, though.
yeah. But we looked at it and we saw her, like, it was her face. And I'll show you later, but like I took a same photo.
We could probably put a picture up
place.
in the description or something like that.
Yeah, we probably can.
We'll put it on our Insta.
Yeah, and that was a bit like, okay. Anyway, we conclude the tour, and we kind of we were just like walking around the grounds and just like exploring out the back, and we go to like the back window which looks into the dining room area. Because I hadn't obviously told her about the shirt tugging until after, because I didn't want to like freak her out anymore, but also because we were in the middle of the tour, don't really have that much time to discuss it. So I was talking to her about it and she was like, oh, let's go have a look back through the window. We take some more photos, and in the photo, again, like in a reflection, you can see kind of like the side of a person in it. So we've kind of got like probably photographic evidence. Like it's not like full body apparition like type shit where it's like,
that's crazy. But hey, if you're taking the photos, you can probably get a full picture of them.
Yeah, and
piece it together like a jigsaw.
And again, like, we were taking the same photos, like, we're just to, like, try and debunk each other, because if we take photos of something, we want to be like, oh, yeah, no, this is just this, or, like, if there's a difference, you can kind of look between the two photos and the two phones, because, like, maybe there's a smudge on the fucking lens, who knows, right? But...
yeah, pizza grease.
Pizza grease,
pizza grease goes.
We went to Prince's Street, like, pizza before, so like, you never know what's on that camera lens. So we were taking photos of the same place at the same time. And we did take some photos that we're like, oh, is this like real, or like, are we? Well,
if we share the photos with everyone, I guess they can let us know their opinions. Is it a ghost or is it pizza grease? Yeah.
Could be pizza grease, but we don't know. So it was like, it looked like somebody's shoulder. Like.
Oh, weird.
So I can show you some photos. I think it's on my friend's phone, the one that she took. But I took the same photo with nobody there. So it was kind of like, oh, all right, well, there's like a difference in the two photos. And again, with the one upstairs where we saw the reflection in the mirror, we took the same photo at pretty much the same place. And in one, there was a face, and then the other one, there wasn't. So it's kind of like, hello. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Place. Yeah. I mean, looking back on it, I'm like, oh, because I was enjoying myself. I love this type of shit. Like, I was having fun. And then when I left, I was like, did I actually like have a child interact with me? Because in general, children tend to like me. I don't particularly like kids, but they always seem to love me for some fucking reason. I don't know why. But apparently this kid is like, was like, come play with me. And I was like, no. So I don't know, but an interesting. What
else can you tell us about the house? Is there anything else?
Well, it was built kind of way back. I believe it was. Yeah. So. Basically, there is also a story behind the place that it was built as well.
Oh no! It wasn't built on some graveyard or something.
Well, the land was a location for public hangings. It was a gallows.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
No.
So, and one of the people, and this is like the one that has the bad energy, that was hung there was a person called Yankee Jim, James Robertson, and he was hung to death in
Yankee Jim.
Yeah, his name's Yankee Jim.
Why is
And
he? Why is he nicknamed Yankee Jim? Do you
bro, I
know?
have no clue.
Is
I
it
don't
because he
know.
was yanked on a thing, or I don't
I
know?
don't
Yankee
know.
Jim.
All I know about him is that he liked to murder and rob people and take their
Right.
gold. So,
He yanked that gold.
and I think
Yanked the Jim.
he was hung for stealing a boat. So he was
Right.
yanking stuff from people left, right, and centre. Like he's just like to steal, I guess.
He's like a pirate. If he's stealing gold and stealing a boat, it makes him a pirate.
I guess he was
He's
a
a
pirate.
pirate. Yeah.
He was French Canadian as well. Like he wasn't
Right.
so interesting guy, I guess. But yeah, so he was hung, and the location of where the gallows was is right in the I don't really know the official word for it, but it's like the living room pretty much. There's a different
Right.
there's a parlor. It's called the parlor. And there's an archway in the middle of like the two parlors, and that's exactly where the gallows was, apparently.
That's so weird. Why would you
Yeah.
build it like that? That's
I don't
crazy.
know.
That's so weird.
I don't really know why.
Who's the architect behind this? This is
Well,
like,
I guess Whaley.
you see where yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and basically,
Is it really like a busy spot there, do you think? Like
well, apparently a lot of people see things and hear things there, like a lot of footsteps, so they can usually hear like people walking like up and down the hallway, because he was 6'4". So like this is a long time ago, you know. He was a big fucking guy, especially for that time. Like a 6'4" dude in 1852, like
wow.
that's a tall ass guy. Most people were like
That would
probably
be
like
that would
5.
be terrifying to see as a
Yeah.
ghost, like this tall, leaning over you kind of guy, you know?
Yeah, so apparently people do see that guy walking up and down the hallway or up and down the stairs and stuff, moving around the house. But also people tend to, like, if they're standing under it, sometimes they can feel like they're being choked. Like, there's a rope around their neck. Yeah, so like people feel like their throat constricting when they walk under this archway, which is not great.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But even just the house itself is quite a cool place, because it's had so many things in it. It was a theater. It's got a court, like a full courtroom in it, in like the first room, like a double parlor, which is like, for that time, like that's bougie. Like that's a lot of that would be considered a big space, right? Like having two kind of parlors.
What business was Whaley in to be like afford to build this?
Well, he was kind of in everything. He, like, as I said, he's got like a parlor. He had like a front store, like a general store. He's had he had a theater upstairs. There's a room that was made as a theater.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then like the other rooms is just like just bedrooms and stuff. But there was a lot of things that happened in that house, and the story with the theater is, so when it started up, there was like this, everyone came in, apparently like 150 people, and I'm talking like, this is a small room. This is like the size of a bedroom, and 150 people like crammed in there.
Wow.
So, again, people tend to say like, oh, it feels cramped in there, because of that many people like being there. And on one of the performances, I think maybe there was a couple of performances before this happened, when the curtain came down, the leader of this group that was performing, and they would do like weekly performances, he died backstage one night after. I don't know, but apparently that's what happened.
Right.
I don't think it was like particularly bad causes. I think it was just like he just dropped dead, like just natural causes. But like that was a weird thing. And he tended to have, so Mr. Whaley, he had a lot of like bad experiences. Like he just didn't have a lot of luck. Clearly,
right.
People like one of his sons, I think like one of his sons kind of like lost the Whaley name, like changed his last name to his maiden name and left the house to not be associated with him and became I think it was like a lawyer or something. He started doing his own thing pretty much. And so he ended up he changed it to Hinton, and he basically like created his own different career, which was good for Thomas Whaley, but obviously he didn't have a lot of luck with money, and that's as to why he had so many different things going on in this house. I guess he was just trying to, one idea after the other. The saddest story, I haven't really actually said yet, which was really bad. So there was one of the daughters. So I think there was 6 children, right? There was Thomas Whaley Jr. He's the one who died at 18 months. There was Anna Amelia, George Harry Ringgold, Frank Hinden, Violet Eloise, and Lily. And Lily, I think, is the one that was tugging on my shirt. So little Lily. And I think that's the person that I was referring to, but I could be wrong. Basically, there was the daughter Violet. She was supposed to get married to this, or I think she actually did get married to this guy called George Benitolassi, and they had a marriage, but it didn't really go to plan, and he was a bit of an asshole. He basically had he was a bit of a con artist, and basically only married Violet for her money, and it didn't really last. So he kind of up and went and said to Violet, "Hey, like, if you wait for me, just give me like a couple of years, and I'll sort out all of my debt in like another place and all of this." And I think he had already been married before that as well, so they got divorced. And back in that time, a divorce is pretty pretty serious. And that kind of led to Violet being, very depressed, or I guess what you would call it is, like, they would have had another word for it, female paranoia or something like that. I don't know, but she the modern day term, she was depressed as hell. And she took her life in the house. She found her father's pistol, and she went out to the outhouse, which is the outhouse that's there at the moment is not there anymore, but they've built a new one exactly where it was. And
is this a wooden outhouse?
Like a wooden outhouse, like a shed sort of sort of thing,
Right.
like water closet, whatever you would call it. And she went out there in the morning, like 6:30, and so she shot herself. And this is kind of the only place. It's a very busy house, so it's kind of probably the only place that she could be alone, long enough for her to shoot herself. And the father heard it pretty much immediately, and she ran to grab her and brought her inside into the parlor room, and she was like alive for maybe 10 minutes before she passed
Oh,
away.
that's awful. That's so bad.
She had also tried to jump from the house before that. But yeah, the
That's
gunshot.
terrible, though.
Yeah, the gunshot definitely worked. So that's really sad. And apparently before that, she would often be standing at the top bedroom, so like the main bedroom, the parents' bedroom, and looking out that window, because that's where when they kind of, she was when they were trying to treat her for being sick or being depressed, she would be staying in that room, and she would be always looking out that window, at the back window, and looking at that outhouse, just like apparently constantly looking out that window. And that's where she can sometimes be spotted, is by looking into that window, just looking down at the outhouse, which is really sad. So that's kind of like, that's our other ghost story. So that's probably, I mean, a lot of bad stuff, happening around that area. And
no wonder
it
is suspected as a haunted location with all this horrible stuff happening there.
Yeah, and apparently you can hear like her crying and stuff as well, which that's one of the things where people will see her on the second floor of the house or in the outhouse. But again, it is a new outhouse that is there, I believe.
Right.
But yeah, apparently people also can hear her, so it's like, ooh, great. But yeah, a very, very sad place, but there was also a lot of nice things that happened, and a lot of people obviously called it home and lived there, and it was like, it being like a theater and a courthouse and all sorts of things. Like a lot of people did kind of.
There was a lot of experiences having that, like a lot of people coming in and out.
Exactly.
I guess you're gonna get as many different life experiences there as possible.
Yeah.
And then I guess you would have so many different feelings and emotions come out of that.
Yeah.
And because that's a lot of association with ghosts, is a lot of like feelings you get from ghosts, or about ghosts.
Yeah. And also in saying that, it is quite a cool place. It was the first commercial theater in San Diego, and it was the second courthouse. So it was like it was a very like, this was a very cool place. It's a very old place, and it was built in, I think, 1857, 1858, or it was bought at that time at least. And yeah, pretty much immediately, like, the son died pretty much, as soon as they built that house. And it's a very, very sad thing to happen. But yeah, it was a cool place to go and visit. But yeah, a lot of tragedy has happened in that place, unfortunately. Yeah.
I think there'll be a lot of stories like this where a tragedy coincides with paranormal activity, and that seems to go in hand, which is horrible, very horrible.
Very horrible. But like again, according to a lot of the ghost tour people, like except for maybe that Yankee Jim guy, I can't imagine him being that great, but a lot of the other people, it's kind of like they're supposed to have like good energy, like they're not they're friendly. I wouldn't expect at least they're not like malicious,
violent spirits.
So there isn't like a lot of the demony scary stuff happening there. It's more that just people tend to see stuff, see the Whaleys, and I guess other people that have lived there. And again, I think there was a lot of deaths where people have felt greatly about that house. For example, Lily, like I think her name is Lily. I think that is the person that I'm talking about, the kid. I don't think she actually died on the property, but because she had so many good memories in the house, that's where her kind of spirit tends to be. That's what the ghost tour lady said, pretty much. But yeah, bit strange. A very interesting place.
Right. So is that Whaley House covered then? I guess we can go into it more later as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's Whaley House covered.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us today on Harrowing Tales.
Yeah.
I've been Brent.
And I am Cal.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next Harrowing Tale.
Yeah. See you next time.